To ban phase. Talk to me, Jess. What do you think we're going to see? I mean, we've already seen the ace come out. In fact, interesting that both teams have banned this away in the first couple of maps, and we're seeing it once again here in Oregon.
Yeah, they really don't want to go up against it. I do expect VP on their attacking ban to have a little bit of a discussion as to what they want to do, because maybe they were going to get rid of the ace. They do ban Thatcher a lot as well, but do they keep it in because they start an attack? No. They'll get rid of it. So that is one of their most banned operators on this map. And attacking-wise for BDS, they also like to get rid of Thatcher as well. So taking the ace out kind of means, okay, the other team's taking out what we would have. And defensively, I expect the Wamai to come out. If not, it might be a shield operator. It is going to be the Wamai. And then back over to VP. They do have a pretty solid Wamai ban on this map as well. And then they've also banned things like the Clash, the Kaid. They're going to get rid of the mirror this time. They've never actually banned it on this map that I have in my statistics, but it's good that they get rid of it considering that BDS do like to run it sometimes.
And disappearing out towards the end rounds out our ban phase. And once more, if you look towards the top of your screen, the two little yellow marks indicates we are one apiece. These are best of threes. This is the final map of the series, and it is so hard to call given both the first two maps went to overtime and ended 8-6. Let's get into it though. Round number one's going to kick off in laundry and supply on the downstairs, and that Carly being brought along. I remember when this first came out, actually, Jess, a few of us are kind of musing over, okay, well, why Carly? One, okay, Thatcher's ban makes sense. It makes the, I don't want to say it makes the Kaid unattractive to play, because we've seen some really interesting Kaid Electro Claw placements, and as I say that, Lemmy's going to 6-pick it back in, and at the same time, they've switched out. So there is a Kaid in play. There is no Thatcher. There is a Maverick, you might argue, to help deal with that. But this could make life a little more difficult for the attacking side.
It'll mean now that Pasha has quite a big job, and it'll be quite an important job as well, because the bottom floor is quite fortified. Depending how you hold it, and I say quite fortified, Bride will likely do a bit of an extension out into elbow with a shield, and then rotate back in if he does manage to keep his life, reinforce it back off, and all things are as they were to begin with. And I do expect that given that Rafale's done one of the reinforcements, he'll do both. But actually, it looks like he might do a bit of a half wall opening up. Okay, they will, and they're going to do it on the left side of box wall. Sometimes you'll see it open up on the right side, sometimes you'll see feet holes, but they're going to keep that one soft and get some of those lines of sight. I'm not sure who will open that up. That'll be a Lems with the TCSG. And the TCSG is not a weapon on Kaid or really Goyo or anyone that you see anymore, considering it got nerfed a few months ago.
This is a very, air quotes, normal BDS thing inside of Electric. What you were just discussing then is having those two northern walls reinforced, because Shaiko likes to play in that spot where you're looking in towards bunker doorway. You can also contest them towards the stairs leading up towards tower at the same time. Just the other side of that electrified wall at the top side. I remember actually watching Secret versus BDS. There was a real war around this area where BDS would, Secret were dying to get this wall broken open so Shaiko couldn't play behind it. They were committing smokes to it. They had every piece of hard breach under the sun that was ranged being thrown at it. Yet it was a real battle in some of those rounds to even get that open in the first place. So I'm keen to see what Virtus.pro's adaptation to that is going to be, given there are a very limited number of smokes available to them now that the ace is banned away.
Oh, no need to roam when you have every bit of safety on site. Pillar, barbed wire, shields, whatever you need, you've got it to your disposal, and that's what BDS is hoping to play behind today. They're also hoping that, you know, Shaiko is a little bit more fired up. This is his map. We've seen him do some great things on it, as you spoke about before. My problem is that if he hasn't quite woken up as we expect him to be, he still has one barbed wire in his pocket for some safekeeping reason as well. I'm not sure what that's all about. But for the most part, he needs to wake up. I'm not saying he needs to be the hero player of BDS, but I think that he's one of those players a lot of his teammates rely on to get some of those really big hitting impactful kills early on. And when he doesn't, it does put a little bit of pressure on them later in the round.
And sure, needs another god tier major to really cement himself as one of the best players in Europe as well. An excellent stage to an incredible August major performance. Here today, I'm not going to say he's played bad, because he absolutely hasn't. I believe he was one of those top killers in the last map for them, but there are others stepping up around them. Just on the other side, you've got players like Pasha also working magic at the same time. Let's not put too much pressure on Shaiko. We'll see what he can deliver as the map proceeds. We're at this stage now, though, where I think Virtus.pro have got themselves in these positions for the last 60 seconds or so, and from there, not a whole lot of movement forwards. We're now into that kind of awkward clear barbed wire, clear out the cameras, clear out anything else we need to get rid of before we can start pushing our way forwards. We need to know where all the players are. And equally, BDS didn't take that as their time, set us back away and get ourselves back inside of sight. And in the same moment, 2 kills come flying through for them. Shaiko traded out immediately after by Milan, but they still walk away with 2 kills to 1.
This time management for VP is a little bit poor because they don't really have the angles they need to be able to push onto site. They do have elbow still open, I believe, and shield will get destroyed in a mere moment, but Alem's, he's hiding around the corner waiting. Actually, it's Rafal, and oh no, things are looking dire. Bride, we asked Shaiko to turn up, but Bride's decided he's going to be the big hitter here for BDS instead. That's not too much of a surprise considering his stage 1 performance. I think he's just kicking it back into gear here.
I remember when he first turned up at the start of stage 1 a good few months ago now, and he was just doing things on smoke that no player should be able to do. And what I love is that we then started seeing a couple of players moving over to play in smoke on other teams. We saw Joystick doing it, for example. I want to say this and I have a feeling it's wrong, but I also remember the role swap coming in for Citizen at points, moving over from things like Ash onto a Nomad. And there was a couple of other players that stepped onto the smoke that I was like, these are normally fragging players that are starting to weaponize the smoke here and using it really well, probably inspired by the kind of performances that Bride was putting on the board. He starts out this map with a 3K in round 1. You suddenly got a good feeling of sort of things to come for him. We head up to the other end of the building, though. Top floor we go to. Kids' Dorm is going to be the site for round number 2.
Pretty natural rotation of sites here. Start below, go up to bedroom, then possibly go kitchen dining, depending on the flavor that you like to take. If you don't like meeting, no problems. You're going to try over towards dining. And this is going all the way I expected so far. It's only been one round, but you do expect the defenders to do quite well on their defensive side on most maps outside of coastline. So that's why when we're really talking about it not being a surprise, it's not because BDS necessarily is just 10 times better than VP in the regular season. I mean, they're quite a few seeds higher than VP, as we spoke about in the last map, but they're not been showing that here today. And whether it's just VP standing up and standing tall, I'm not entirely sure. I think there's a little bit of that on both sides, BDS being a little bit tired and VP being a little bit more awake. But I do expect this round to go into the hands of BDS as well. I'm just worried that VP, they can get themselves into a little bit of a slump when they start an attack, and they just need to continue that kind of momentum and not do this kind of solo stuff that they tend to do in later rounds when they feel they need to make a hero play.
I'm also looking at the setup coming out of the side of BDS, where they have both Ranchira and Rafal playing with these impacts. We speak all the time around the wardrobe, walled and R with those impacts. You play on the other side of it, you throw the impact at the ground, you can often destroy the hard breach coming through on the other side. So they are going for this Anar sort of setup. They've got a bit of information coming out of the Valkyrie as well. They've got the right tools to play behind here, as well as a cheeky C4 in case later on Alem wants to make use of it. Given he's skulking around downstairs, we saw this kind of play coming out on Clubhouse, was shut down a couple of times. Same story can be said for Pasha when he was taking up an identical role. I think if he gets droned out here, he could be in a world of hurt, mind you. And that drone has seen him. There we go. A little bit too easy there to get caught out if you're not dealing with those drones a bit quicker.
Rask acted on that information. It was his own drone where he got that information as well, mind you. So that was really impressive for him to just shift W all the way in, confidently take that gunfight, and really give an opportunity for VP to get that leg up in this round that they needed. Not sure what this beautiful art piece Pasha is drawing on that attic wall is. Generally, he'll put like a bit of a crouch wall in the right-hand side behind that impenetrable sort of mattress area. This time he's made a bit of a wave for us. Maybe that's a bit of a representation of the upward trajectory we can expect from VP in this matchup. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Here we go. This is where the impact on our part comes through. This is going to open up. Is he there in time? Yes, he is to deny it out. But now the question is, can he get a second if it comes back on? Shall go on there, and this could be the wall opened up. I think a lot of players really struggle once you've blown away a lot of the ceiling from, like, here. There was nothing else of the impacts to really connect onto, so it was really, really difficult to get the angle to get the wall open. But I think Virtus.pro might just be bailing on this for a momentary second, actually, and maybe thinking about how can we contest from another angle? Can we make him a little more uncomfortable before we commit for this? Because if we lose this next exothermic, that's going to hurt.
I think WTG's trying to challenge him, and this is perfect. That's going to take his attention away. Exothermic goes off, and now Renshura says, okay, you can open it up on me, but I will be here to gun you down. And Milan says, that's okay, I could trade straight back, but that's not particularly good for the numbers here of BDS, having lost their Maestro player. It's still got Shaiko, Britta, and Rafal, and I wonder whether or not Rafal has a C4 in hand or not, or whether he's just going to be playing that gun game that we expect most of the players on site to do. He does. He has impacts instead. And Shaiko says, all right, it's time to frag up. Even these number count out. 15 seconds left. Des, can they make it happen?
Or Rest manages to find Shiko in Pig, so that clears everything out on this east side. So now Plant in the back corner here, exactly where he's going for the plant is the perfect spot to go for. Rafal knows about it, but the question is, can they step forward and go for this challenge? They've got a smoke coming out. I don't think it connects onto Rask. Tries to swing in for the spray down, but just a couple of milliseconds too late. Will get finished off by the smoke, and now it's a 1 versus 2 for Brede. If anyone could do it, it could have been him. But sadly, Pash is going to put him to bed nice and early. Virtus.pro taking round number 2 and 1 apiece to kick off Oregon.
I think that was down yet again to mere seconds or milliseconds there for Rask. You could see him deciding, can I play it, can I not? Vertical holes open below me. Is anyone really covering me? Someone might push me from white. And they did manage to come zooming in and do that, but it was just half a second too late. And I think that's why we always consider a team who does get the execute or rather the player down to be the superior team in the round, even if they lose that round from a retake. I think the statistic, at least back a season or two ago, the statistic used to be you were 80% more likely to win a round than you were previous if you get the player down. And that comes out of time restraints, comes out of pressure it puts on the defenders, forces them to leave their positions. There's a whole host of reasons why. My thought process here, Des, is that their ability to get that player down in that round bodes way better for them than it has in previous maps in this particular series on their attacks. Like, they look way better in that round attacking than they have in previous maps.
It's still up in the air as well. I mean, off those 2 rounds that we've seen so far, an excellent downstairs defense, a pretty decent attack on the top floor, all things considered. Some really good team play to deal with the Maestro that was denying the closet wall. Love to see it. We're going to try and make the same thing happen once again. And I imagine here for BDS, same as we saw when Shiko got pinched on red stairs back on Villa, what was the change they made? They adapted and said, right, LM, get on the Mozzie, get out in the map with him and go and support him on their own so they can't pinch him from Wolf this time round. So I'm thinking here you're going to see more support for Renshiro. But if someone plays downstairs and with the Valkyrie camera coming in there, that just screams to me that they want the knowledge of when someone's going to try and make that kind of play again.
Another cam outside. I don't expect that to stay alive for too long. It's a pretty default spot for one of those Valkyrie cams, especially if you can see the window opened up. A lot of teams try and re-barricade windows or doors that they've opened up to do that so it doesn't give it away. I don't think Milon has worked it out just yet. He'll rappel to the roof. Whether or not Alems can get a sneaky jump out as a result, or if he's just using it to really feed intel to his teammates. Does look like VP will do exactly the same as they did last time, however. Want to get some of that attic open, give them an opportunity to push over towards Pig. They also want bedroom open. They have to deal with these impacts, however, and I believe that they will repeat what they did last round. But Renshiro is hoping to be a bit more successful, and he's hoping the likes of Alems and Rafal will be able to contest the player who shoots into Classroom.
This is where the kind of game of chess of siege begins, where you just keep on adding more and more layers to make things harder. And I love, again, the artwork that has been done by Pasha here. What is it with people just drawing lovely pictures when they come around to opening walls up? It's always the same.
He's done it the same a couple of times now, so it makes me think there is a purpose behind it. I'm not sure what it is, but the purpose is there. You can't crouch through the other part of it, but yeah.
You can't, but you can sit on the stairs and watch underneath. I'm just more kind of like, why the horizontal low line and the diagonal up and the one across it? I guess it was just a method for opening it fine. It just felt a little bit funny. Most teams will go for like a circle or something, but it was like, nah, triangle.
Triangle. Weird, not...
Triangle. I want to draw a triangle.
Oh no, I'm wondering about this impact trigger, so I'm holding my breath. This either works or it doesn't. Those concussions come out and it only delays him for a mere second. He still has the opportunity to impact trick. I believe Rask took out a Lems who was either below or to some effect somewhere on the map. And yes, he was. So Rask will dispatch him quite well. And does he have another impact in hand? I can hear you giggling there. What are you giggling about?
It's such a caster thing. Like when we're trying to fill a bit of space while we wait for them to happen, it either works or it doesn't. And it's like, well, yeah.
Obviously. Like, they either win the round or they don't. Like, yeah, of course. Like, someone walks away the victor here, and it looks like that victor might be VP, another attacking round in their hands if they keep this up. But BDS says, I want to level things out, as they usually do. My problem is 15 seconds. Yeah, I don't think that VP has the opportunity to get this plan off like they did last time.
Oh, and they're still dealing with smokes as well, which is never going to bode well for them. A couple of shields still standing, and here goes Rensure with that Alder from long range, bringing down WTG. It's traded back out, and oh my god, he gets stoned by Shockwave. Can he plan? Plan, man, plan for what your life is worth. He gets away with it, but where's Rafal? Has he got a shot from below? Yes, he does. He does the Milan special, like we saw back on Villa when they were trying to plant inside of Aviator, and they will deny the round once again from below.
That was one thing BDS didn't do on their first try of upstairs that they did on their second, is that they had the verticals open, but no one played them. This round, they had a Lems fall below, but Ras didn't double up on it and make sure that the Malusi fell as well. That's why you lose those rounds. I think out of all the teams that should know to deal with that verticality, it's VP, because they know how to slap teams with it. So you've got to be able to deal with it yourself if you're attacking. They just didn't. Of course that happens. And I have a sneaky suspicion that BDS, the bottom floor and the top floor, are the two sites that they really like to go to, and they're not going to deviate from it in any way, shape, or form unless they have to.
Just throw every other round, I guess, to make sure you can only play those two sites and nothing else, right?
I mean, you'd love to be able to go to your third site. It means that, yeah, you've been able to win your primary sites, bottom and top floor. Lems will call for a rehost because for whatever reason he can't hear properly. I mean, if he just plugs his earphones in correctly, I have no doubt and I just checked my earphones as I did that because I'm like, do I have my own sound bug, like a secondary sound bug?
What would a caster sound bug sound like?
Well, I already have a sound bug and his name is Des, consistently in my ear.
Just so funny. Really not that funny, actually, to be honest. Can you do your job and talk to me around how this match is going so far?
I get paid per word, so let me break out the dictionary, bring out all those words. Yeah, you can start
saying useless things like they either win it or they don't, I guess.
You have said useless things as well, and I don't rail you anywhere near as hard.
Siege is the worst game because you have about 60 seconds sometimes to fill when an execute begins, and there is so much dead time. You can't sit there in silence, so you've got to say something. So you just come up with the most random, pointless crap to say in the world to try and fill time. Like, don't worry, I feel the pain. I just found it really funny when I listened to it very literally, and I was like, well, yeah, duh. It's just great. I just enjoyed it a lot.
No, look,
Simple things in life, Jess.
They are. I can analyze. I was actually really quite surprised that VP did get that attacking round. That was super close, mind you. They did manage to get the plant down with mere milliseconds to go. So that round that they did walk away with, I argue, was a misread of the situation by BDS. It was a real force to get onto site kind of thing for VP. You and I call it a Hail Mary all the time. That's what that was for VP. I don't think in future rounds, especially with how we saw BDS play that round, even though it did get to a 3v3 in the end, I don't suspect that in future rounds that BDS will give it up quite as easily. I think they'll play it smarter. I think their communication is slowly starting to smooth out with them, and the rounds will become a lot more confident for them on their defense. I worry about them on their attack because I have this picture in my head, Des, of VP bringing Goyo a smoke with a shield and like however many other operators with a shield, and then they start on bottom floor site and there's a shield in elbow, a shield in pillar, a shield over towards bunker door, and a shield over towards freezer. And I'm just like, what game are we playing anymore at that point?
I mean, being real as well, when you walk into a room and just see 3 shields pointed at you, there's reinforced walls, there's a banshee in the middle of the floor. It's just like, yeah, guys, I really think they don't want us to push this room, to be honest. I think we should go somewhere else because we're not really welcome guests here.
And they've got tiny mirrors in them as well. You know, I remember testing one of the first iterations of the shield, and I don't know if it was in Paris or Montreal. I can't remember where it was, but they used to be a lot thicker than they actually came out with. So what the defenders have now is not quite as egregious as was first suggested, and I'm ever so glad.
Jess just casually violating an NDA in front of about 20,000 people. Great job, Jess. Won't be seeing you on any future shows in future. Can't wait for that one. I'm joking. I'm pretty sure it's fine. It's that old now. It's not a problem.
Correct. And this shield has been in for quite a while, and a lot of teams have been able to work it out. What I'm actually surprised is that I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 months ago, we saw APAC do it quite a lot as well, is that where they turn the shields around because you get a better line of sight through some of those slits through it. My problem is that we're seeing teams still use them front on, and they're trying, you could see them like doing crouches and looking left, right and peeking and everything. Just turn the shield around. Quite honestly, you will have a better peek through those lines of sight and you'll be able to see things so much better. So I'm surprised teams aren't doing that. I'm not sure what that's about, but yeah.
You know what I love? It's like APAC's the great innovator. They were running around with suppressors on their guns. Everyone was like, surely it's a visual bug. And it's like, no, actually, the recoil just doesn't exist while you have suppressors on. And so for a while, a lot of teams were starting to run suppressed guns around the world. It was wild. And then these inverse, I actually remember this exact conversation we had around these shields because I said, guys, it's basic science, right? If you have something that's much closer to your face, it's going to look a lot bigger. And that applies to the small gaps that you get in shields. So although reversing shields might look weird, it does make a lot of sense.
Well, we'll see whether or not there's going to be the exact same setup from BDS. Speaking of shields in elbow again, last time they played this site, my worry was Alems rotated back in through elbow, but they didn't reinforce off the wall. They kept challenging it. And I wonder what that's about. Is that part of the plan of them going, actually, a lot of teams, when they give up elbow, they reinforce it off and they close off and everything's all dandy. And that exact wall is what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Easy. But BDS seemed to kind of just leave it open, which I think is a bit strange because the more time you can waste from the attackers, the better for you. And that's what reinforcing that wall off does. It forces them to use hard breach. They might not even have any left over if you can, impact trick or shoot some off from the side of blue bunker. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see if they play it the same way this round.
I had one of my friends message me and just be like, don't you dare talk smack about triangles. They're poggers and you're just jealous. When we were talking around the triangles from the Maverick.
Huh.
You remember? They were like, don't talk smack about. They're obviously joking, Jess. It's a joke. It's meant to be funny. And I know what you're going to say. Well, jokes are meant to be funny, or you don't laugh. Like whatever.
Yeah, you and your friends in the unfunny club.
Smack talk triangles, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Smack talking triangles.
Are they a mathematician or?
They actually are. Yeah, it's so
funny
you
oh
say
my
that.
God! I was going to say the only way you would be upset is if you love geometry and you were a mathematician. So shout out to your mathematician friend.
You know what someone else made a comment on? With your shirt on, you look like you should be in a bullfighting ring.
I know, everyone keeps saying
matador.
That. Lycan, from the coach of SSG, actually just retweeted my outfit and and put that exact GIF. So thanks for that, Lycan. I feel great.
Incredible. All right, let's get back into it. Anyway, game is underway. Rehost is done. We get to see what happens now. We go back downstairs. So we've had a couple of rounds dancing around on the top floor, dare we say. So the BDS with 2 rounds after the downstairs victory and the top floor victory. See if things can be changed around by VP this time around, because it is going to be that game of chess that we acknowledged on the top floor with that wardrobe wall. Sadly, in this game of chess, the chess pieces do have guns, and Rafael's apparently is a lot better than Pasha's, and he is now the first one dead. That Maverick being gone is going to hurt a little bit, given that there is a Kaid on side.
I think he had done a lot of his job already, actually, and the reason I say that was because he opened up over towards Freezer Hatch and managed to get that Electric Claw off there. They opened it with X-Kairos then on. He may have done the same over towards the box hatch as well. I'm not entirely sure. But it looks like they want to do a Freezer/front push anyway. C4 gets wasted as is expected, and Renshiro will surely have that ADS burnt and that shield displaced. As we're reaching the 60-second mark, I think VP have turned on the speed here. They're kind of going, all right, let's hit them 100 miles per hour. This is what we want to do. And Shockwave getting close to the front plant. Is that a shield inside of closet I'm seeing? Is that what got replaced? Because if so, that is the smartest damn thing I've seen. Nope, it's just a reinforcement. So they haven't changed that up.
Okay.
I'm watching a pixelated version. I'm going to watch a pixelated version. My apologies.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm with you. Either way, the wall is reinforced, so no, there's no shield there for now. And oh my God, Rasky thought might hit those shots, but no, Bride wins it out. He's down to about 27 HP, so did take some damage in the back of that one. And Rask isn't yet out the field, just down, but not out. But call this what you might. It's basically a glorified 2v5 at this point. And they get swung on once again by Renshiro. The last kill comes out from a smoke. Shockwave just looks around and goes, guys, what just happened? We've been flawless rounded after a rehost. Dominant round by BDS, and now we're going to have to see them go to an alternative site as they have won Kid Storms and Supply and Laundry back to back.
Tactical. That's what we call that.
All right, here we go.
But it just sounded like you just you said, here we go. You just flew away from your microphone.
I mean, I kind of did. I was more like saying, here we go, just talking around tactical, and then disappeared and thought, you know what, these lights are still on and they're really bothering me, so I'm going to try and turn them off. I'm pleased to report I succeeded in turning lights off. Believe it or not, I've been turning off light switches for a very long time.
I mean, I know, you're like 40 years old. Did they even have power back when you were born?
No, I had to sit on a bicycle. Well, they did, but you had to sit on a bicycle and pedal to generate it. These days you get hamsters to do it for you.
Oh, that is such a dad joke. It's so bad. Oh, it was so bad. It's okay.
Welcome. You know, I don't think I've ever actually seen, this sounds really stupid, I've never seen Rook's gadget icon before.
What?
I've never seen it, like, I don't know, maybe I've never played it, I think. But see, I've played it before, but not to the stage I've ever looked at his gadget. But seeing like the armor pack lay on the side, I've generally never seen it. Any other gadget in the game, I could tell you what it is, but that's the first time I think I've seen that. As weird as that sounds.
So first you admit you don't know where Split is, and then you get onto a live broadcast.
Cast theme park this weekend.
Oh my god, then you get into a live broadcast, not just any broadcast, you get onto the EU major broadcast and you say to everyone publicly that I have never seen this armor pack before. I
think it's just I've never paid attention. I just think I've genuinely never paid attention to it. I saw it and I was like, I've never appreciated that icon before. I should mention that.
All right. Well, you know what I'm going to mention? I'm going to mention the Ying. Why am I going to mention the Ying? Because we haven't seen it yet, and she has a heck of a lot of Candelas to do a really intense job of entry clearing. I don't think she'll be able to do that because the site is kitchen and dining, and generally to be able to use your Candelas, I expect them to be used over in showers, and that's pretty much adjacent to the site. So if they can use these Candelas to their full effectiveness, it'll be over in showers. I don't expect it to be over near dining or kitchen.
The small tower has always been the go-to, and there's always this big war around showers that turns into this impact war. And some teams, I mean, I don't think, maybe you'll see it here since that has been kind of a thing for BDS so far, is bringing along the two sets to play the denial game. However, this is quite smart from Pasha. So commonly what you sometimes see up here is a thermite charge being put on the ground. That opens the wall from above, and then you can contest inside. But here they're really going for a stretch, and Pasha's trying to burn a hole through the floor quite literally to get the top of this wall open so that Milan, now holding the angle, can contest onto the Maestro if he steps a foot out of position. I like it.
Yeah, we've seen it used to great effect recently, and it was actually in the last EUL match. Peekaboo! Good night, Pasha. Absolutely put to his death, and that's okay if you ask me, because he's done his job, and Rafal is dancing for his life over in showers, and 1 minute 30 left. That's a heck of a long time here for VP to work with. They've evacuated or showers out, but I don't think they've really got control. What are you giggling? You're always giggling like a little girl.
You were just like, that's okay because he's done his job. I'm like, in no world is it okay to peek like that and die for no reason. It was unbelievable. But either way, the Maestro is eventually dead. It's just a delayed death coming through. So call it a very late trade. Either way, 4 versus 4, 60 seconds still left to play. And Virtus.pro, as you can see, have now got control of showers. The Candela comes out, he springs around the side, knows there's a man close. Yes, he does. Finds one, turns it into a double kill, but Shaiko strikes back. Can't quite connect the third, though, as Rask finds his name instead. 3 versus 2 for Virtus.pro. A couple, maybe 3 drones left on the field. They've got enough information here and enough time to make good use of it. But look at the angle from Renshiro, playing upstairs, laying down, watching the default plant spot. But I think Shockwave has maybe got a different idea here. He's looking for that southeast corner of dining to try and go for his plant in. All they've got to do is suppress Brede.
Yeah, this is the best spot to plant if you are the attacker.
Good idea.
You cannot be seen. That's a corner smoke so that he can punch it through the wall. Shockwave, you've got to get out of it. You've got a slither of HP. Oh my god, BDS ran into this like a book. When I said this was the smartest place, I take it damn back. And now Shockwave has to plant out in the open.
Still gets away with it, mind you. Can't quite see him with the smoke. Can't catch him with the smoke, nor can they see him from the hatch. They will get away with a plant. Renshiro going down pretty low, not enough to be taken out just yet, but it's still in this 3 versus 2 situation where Brede goes aggressive. Rask collects one, Milan the other. Things are going to wind up at 3 and 2. So the 2 rounds that VP would have wanted on the attack have been sourced. Can they find a third, or does yet again another map go to 4 and 2 at the half?
It's not a surprise that BDS would lose a site that isn't one of their 2 primary sites. I mean, a lot of people would say that their third site on any map, regardless of the map that you're on, is really one of those things that you don't always expect them to walk away with, no matter how defensive-sided a map is. You know, even on theme park, let's say Lab was your third site that you like going to, I wouldn't really be surprised if you do happen to lose it. And so that's how I kind of feel for BDS right now. What I'm not going to be happy with is now that they're going back upstairs, if they lose this one, they even things out, VP goes on to defense. I'm telling you right now, VP walks away with this win. I know it's a hot take, but if they do not win this last defensive round here, BDS will not win this map unless their attack is sparkling, flawless, and everything we've seen it be before in Oregon, and they've woken the hell up.
it's still that situation where I'm just like, I don't know which way this is going to go. I just don't know. It's so difficult to call. And I can't even sit here and say to you, okay, I can give fair reason to why I think a team will win. Like, I know what you just said a second ago, but to me, it's still so hard to call. And I'm just excited to see how the map concludes. I'm dying for overtime because I feel like the series really deserves it.
Shield galore. That's what I expected from VP, and now I'm going to get it from BDS instead. When I say shield galore, they're pretty default shields, especially the one from kids' dorms over towards the trophy door. The reason that that is so default is back in the old iteration of Oregon, you used to play a shield in that exact spot, even though it's a little different now with the remake and whatnot. That shield has been carried over from eons and eons ago, the old make of Oregon, now to feature on this particular iteration of Oregon. My problem is that it does open you up in a few spots, unlike it used to on the old map. And so as a result, you do often expect to lose that shield quite quickly.
Shields, and shields. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of chat around those on Sunday as well. Of course, don't forget, we do have the reveal panel for Neon Dawn on Sunday, so make sure you tune in for that one. He's at it again with his triangles, Jess.
I know what it is. I've worked it out.
Trigonometry.
I've worked it out.
What?
The bottom line is because you can see a line of sight if you were to crouch on the stairs behind. The triangle
on the
is
left-hand side, yeah.
Yeah. And then the triangle part of it is that you can only crouch through on the right-hand side or on the left if you're looking at it from this perspective. But you can still see, if you were to go onto the stairs, over on a more standing position by having the triangle delve out a little higher.
You know what my friend has now done? He's even drawn a diagram and sent it to me of why it might be a triangle over a circle.
No.
I feel nerds as friends.
Well,
I mean, we are all friends
well
with Hap and his stats, so fine.
Yeah, I mean, we're friends. I mean, that's a loose term.
Wow, okay, he's not even here to defend himself. Don't murder the man in cold blood. That's not fair. Oh, Jess. Is this going to be...
No.
They've got 3 drones playing around Trophy Door. We saw Secret do this Smoke and Candela execute where they just lob everything through this doorway. They plant just inside Trophy Door and then get the hell out of Dodge. They could go for the same thing again here.
You know why they're doing it? It's because they want to get away from the verticals. The verticals absolutely crippled them last time. They do not want to plant there again. Smokes and Candelas, absolutely. You've read into that brilliantly.
Give it time. They're just making sure those shields aren't present so they can at least force members back. And they need to get these Candelas in nice and deep so these players playing a little bit further back can't step out and go for the contest. But in case they are, you've got Pasha playing on big windows. So with all 5 members left alive, they have got all the tools they need. Just be so mindful of Shaiko stepping out and blind spraying that plant spot. Otherwise, they could be in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, they don't have added control, and oh no, that double window crossfire has also been down, but WTG says I can make an entrance and I'll do it on the side of the Candela's double kill.
There they go.
Plant going down in an unexpected position. Oh no, he's gonna have to go for it alone, and Milon, all by his lonesome, over in closet. All right, come out of the closet now, my friend. You're good to go.
Wow. Hey, you went there. I did not.
Hey, I can say it.
You can say it. That's absolutely fine. You most definitely can. 2 kills come swinging out from Wardrobe, though. You had the one player bursting into Pig at the same time. I really like that execute. Secret did it previously, and again, since I saw it, then I thought, oh wow, more teams going to use this, or is that kind of once in a lifetime flash in a pan moment? But I think there you saw the strength of it, where you have 2, 3, maybe 4 angles all being pushed at the same time. Candelas are going off, smokes are down. It's absolute chaos in the BDS comms. Really smart play, I think, and it does bring things up to 3 apiece. That's 3 attacking rounds for Virtus.pro and Oregon. Not an easy feat, something that a lot of teams have struggled with, and this really sets us up for a spicy second half.
I did say that if VP won that attack and BDS lost it, VP takes this map, they take the whole series, they win this against BDS. I'm a little nervous after saying it, but I still stand by what I said. I'm going to make a hot take and not stand by it. I definitely believe that VP on their defense can really put up some numbers and put it up quick if any of the previous maps against, just in this series even, are anything to go off. My problem is that I'm looking over at the attacking side of things. Again, they're going to have to rely on Rafal for a lot of these things, and I know he's quite a skilled sort of flex support player, so I don't expect him to have any trouble with it. I'm worried that VP try and put too many eggs in too many baskets. Do we roam? Do we stay outside? Do we turtle? Do we flank? Do we do this? And VP is a bit of a kind of edgy team. They try and make these kind of like quick plays or solo plays, and they don't always work out for them. And I think this is literally what I'm talking about. I don't know what Milon's doing here, but it looks like he might be trying to get an early kill, and it's not really going to work out for him, I think.
I thought you called them an edgy teen at first. I was like, that's really one way to try and compare a team. I was like, okay,
edgy.
Okay.
No. Is it my accent?
I've never heard someone describe a team as edgy before.
Yeah, like edgy
what, are they
is
gonna
like...
are they going to start like typing really hot takes in bullets into a wall as a message just to put out to the world? Remember when Blaz did that in CL? He typed easy on the wall, then swung the corner and died.
That was such a good karma moment. Nothing will ever tell me that karma doesn't exist like that particular moment.
Oh, it was so worth it. I don't know if his chat would have seen. I think it was on Theme Park when, ironically, he was in Split, writing easy into a wall, swings out into armory and dies. And I was just like, that is the most biblical thing I've ever seen. Grenades are coming singing around the corner onto WTG, and with the help of the Goya Flames, we'll be able to step back through the wall and get it reinforced up. Done his job, has wasted some utility, and someone's having a vibe over there in construction. That body was like, whoa, look at it. It's like one of those,
still vibing.
It's like one of those things that... It's one of those things that you get outside like a garage, like, you know, the air that goes up through the big tubes and its arms are flailing everywhere.
Wacky inflatable
It's
man.
one of them. Yeah, that's the one. The wacky inflatable men. He's like that, except in construction and halfway buried inside a wall. Anyway, the attack continues. 4 versus 4 and 90 seconds still to play. BDS have made really good time, and this is one thing I'll always commend them for as an attacking team. The number of times they have executed with 70 seconds still left on the clock this season is ridiculous. They are so time efficient at getting things done. They don't dilly-dally. They just go straight for sight.
See what I mean? You can see some of those Virtus.pro plays, they just can't keep still. Running left, right, checking everything, pre-firing everything. I mean, they just can't happen to sit still. Rask did manage to get that opening kill, but he got traded straight back. And so now they're going to have to rely on the smokes. They're going to have to rely on the shield being in a pretty damn good placement, and that their plant denial sticks. Because if Milon dies in the crossfire of Freezer, it will look pretty damn dire for VP.
Someone's going to have to take the energy drink off them, I think, just to make them sit still for a little bit longer. But they're in all these key positions. C4 comes out. Ooh, goodbye, Shaiko. Still got 2 players left playing around Pillar. And one of them, Bride, has the diffuser. But now he's being smoked out. All too familiar with what that feels like, given how many players he chokes out with the smoke. Once that expires, though, that's when the opportunity comes through to go for a push. I'm looking at BDS, though, and seeing no drones on side, no utility, no understanding, lol, no information of where the other players are. So here it's going to come down to the gun skill. It's going to come down to execution and some reliance that there are no C4s left on the side of Virtus.pro. Relay going in for the stick right here. Can they deny that again? Another smoke comes through. I think he's trying to stick this one out. In fact, he's not even being tagged. It's just on the edge, but they get away with it. And like that, BDS retreat into the night. And Milan has got to go aggressive. Goes to one. It gets shut down by Rafal off to the side. They can see where it is at close range, but WTG, even he's put in the dirt. Shockwave and Pasha, a 2v1. Rafal has got it all to do. And with this diffuser going through, he's got to work some magic here. He cannot find the angle. He's got to sprint forward. Basher's all the more ready outside a pillar, and Virtus.pro will be able to get the retake, get the defuse through, and take round number 1 of their attacking half. Defensive half, sorry.
Oh, it's following the trend. Here it goes. I'm not like Jalaba Capib, or what do they call him? I don't even know his name. Jacob Space Caliber? Caliber Space Jacob?
You do know his name, right? Surely.
You're ruining the meme. You are such a boomer. You are.
No, I just know that you're a bit of a can't even think of the word here, and I just thought you were being unnecessarily cruel. But okay.
If you don't follow the Jalapa Jacob meme, then you just don't deserve to be part of the Siege community. I'll tell you that much.
The only meme that I follow is where he was called Caliber Jacob every single desk, like without fail. It wasn't Jacob or just Caliber. It was Caliber Jacob, and I was like, buddy, if we're on a broadcast together, you're getting called Jacob. I'm sorry.
I absolutely agree with that. In fact, we had a bit of a Twitter back and forth about that, I'm sure. But
imagine if every time we had Fluke on a desk, we called her Captain Fluke every single time. Hey, Captain Fluke, can we get your thoughts? Let's go over to Hap and Captain Fluke. Like,
wow,
Jacob, I love you. I promise.
You're really passionate about this topic. Look, I'm going to give it to you. What I wanted to point out, however, was that he either curses teams. Actually, no, he's just the curse machine, right? I don't think that I'm the same kind of way. I think what I've said about VP still reigns pretty true. They won their first defensive round. I expect them to win another, but I'm a little bit concerned because what they've decided to do is go to meeting, and it's not a site that a lot of teams like to go to because it doesn't particularly have quite a high win rate. And I look down to how many times they've actually played Meeting Hall, and I can see 0. In fact, they almost always play Dining and Kitchen. They have never, at least in my statistics, and how many games do I have here? About 7 different games. They've never played Meeting Hall. So this is brand new for me on the screen.
I'm all down for some fresh innovation. We mentioned earlier on that at the major, it's the time to bring out your guns, bring out everything, because after this, don't forget, we do have the finals kicking off in December, but beyond that, you're looking towards 6 Invitational on the start of the next stage, potentially, you know, in 4 or 5 months' time. This is the time to show everything you've got, because by then, we're talking a different meta, of course, a new operator's on the way. Lots of things to get excited about there, I'm sure, on Sunday. And this just means now is the best time to unveil all the hard work you've been putting in, all the fresh ideas that you've got. And a site like this, it's time to surprise the other side.
Do they need to take adding in this instance? I'm not entirely sure. They've got Maverick who will be able to do so, and I think his whole job here is to just pretty much dispatch of the Kai Claw, the Electric Claw, which he does. I wasn't sure they would actually open it up, but if they do, I'm hoping it's only a line of sight, because you don't want to make a rotate for the defenders to be able to flank through later. Does look like they managed to just do a line of sight, but it does also look like Rask doesn't miss, and that's a lens going down. Have they even deployed any of those air jabs anywhere? Maybe over the double door towards kitchen hallway, but that would have been about it. Maybe below as well?
Maybe. I mean, it's still the fact that there's 5 versus 4 for Virtus.pro. They're the ones in the commanding position for a site that we haven't seen them play on before. Maybe this is like, you literally give him a glimpse and he'll take your head clean off. In fact, the second one follows, and like that, BDS from a 5 versus 4 into a 4 versus 3. Not a bad outcome for them. There are no drones left except for the one that Brede has got here, but that's really not going to be able to give you enough information to support 4 players. So this is again going to come down to a bit of a blind attempt on this one. Plant is going down, almost losing another member, but Rafal finds the head first, brings down Milan. They'll get away with the plant and be able to get themselves out of dodge. So for a round that I thought, well, it started well for Virtus.pro, has swung completely towards the French team. They are in a commanding position. They'll close things out with only 1 death in the entire round. Great stuff to bring us all square once again. And Jess, we're back at 4-4 again. We know how this tends to work out. And I imagine just by me saying the words 4-4, I know exactly what chat's going to be like.
You've sparked off more than one conversation in chat, absolutely. The conversation I want to sort of delve into, however, is that this has been just Groundhog Day here for both of these teams. On the first map, it went away. On the second map, it went the same way, but for BDS rather than VP. Are we flipping again and it's happening for VP? Is this just foretold in every single iteration of how this match goes forward? Is it just going to go this way because that's just the premonition? That's it. You can't get out of it. Or does VP slip a little bit, as we saw BDS do in the past couple of maps, and BDS wakes up a bit? I mean, there's still so much that both of these teams could do, and I'm a little worried that the pressure might get to a couple of these teams as they're nearing the end point, and then we see a lot more mistakes, or we see a lot more aggressiveness, or we see teams stall out. I mean, I think that could really be the thorn in the side of VP here, is that they start trying to make hero plays, and those hero plays don't work out.
Sometimes what you need is a hero. You need someone to stand up, grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and drag it over the finish line a few times where you may have struggled previously. But to give them fair credit, VP did swing back the previous 3 rounds until that last one, which brings us up to 4 apiece, so it's far from a far cry to say that you could see this going all the way to overtime. I've just noticed that the Jaeger's running around with a shotgun again.
Uh-oh, scario. Oh, I like those ADSs. Oh, he says he doesn't want them there. Oh, they've identified the spawn.
Jess.
Okay, they've identified the drones in the spawn position of BDS and are rotating their entire setup. I like it. I like it. Well done. Identifying exactly where the push is going to come from and repositioning almost everything to deal with it.
But this is what happened versus G2 when Tempra baited with drones on the other side of the map. Like, all of them spawned on the other side. They ammered into kids, planted, because G2 was so busy holding the other side of the map.
No, BDS are not doing that. That was Tempra.
I'm just saying, right, I have no doubt Tempra and BDS are good friends. And they've got some ideas from each other, I'm sure. They're talking, they're saying, this could work out pretty well. There's no ammerers.
Yeah, because Tempra are feeding their enemies.
Give it time.
Yeah, Tempra are feeding their enemies ideas. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
I guarantee you they're friends. I guarantee you, and they talk.
All right. Okay. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that, yeah, they're feeding them freebie information, but it's not going to be the Tempra-esque push. Just what T2's game, he says. And now they will get open the wall that we did expect them to, considering the rotate of all of the defender utility over towards the kitchen wall and the meeting wall, rather. And Pasha's going to struggle having the shotgun above, particularly. It'll only work when they do manage to walk into his line of sight from the vertical hole. He is being pressured from Kid's window as well, which is the Nomad. And as a result, now things are looking pretty all right for both sides. VP having the leg up, knowing which way they were pushing, and still having the verticals above. That's the big thing. I've seen Shaiko do this before, Des. He comes zooming in and takes no prisoners.
Ooh, it's about finding some more kills for yourself first to really say they take no prisoners. It is the opening kill onto the shotgun-wielding Jaeger. Once more, and I'll always touch back on it, number of drones left for BDS, 2. They have lost everything else. It's going to come down to one of those crazy round executes that has punished them a couple of times already here in Oregon. In fact, we saw it in round number 7. There was nothing left. They got themselves snagged out a couple of times. Last round, it didn't matter so much. So flip a coin as to what impact it's going to have in this round. Still holding down around sight, mind you, down to those final 30 seconds. This is where BDS have got antsy on previous maps, but the plant is going down. They're here in good time, and Breed 8 is sticking this one out. But here comes the interrupt from Rask. This is why flank drones can be so impactful, ladies and gents. With that, he almost shuts the round down in its entirety, but he is a one-man army. He's got to win a 1 versus 3. Can he find them all? He gets 2 down. He only got to kill 1 more. It's him versus Shaiko. Almost gets away with it, but doesn't quite get the head. I thought for a second he got it, but Shaiko saves the round from almost near certain defeat. Hero play by Rask, just not quite enough to stop the beast himself.
Oh, my heart skipped 87,000 beats at that particular moment. I mean, we spoke about, you know, the Nomad having to be that flex player that is meant to shut off those kind of flanks. They actually had a drone in the hallway, but it really wasn't positioned to be able to see someone come up basement stairs. And I mean, that's what happens. I really felt there for Rask, because he did a really good job at being able to take them off guard, get the diffuser player down, get another player down over in kitchen, and another. I mean, he was doing all the work that he could, and then he sort of stopped in split and kind of like stood there and went, where do I go now? Where's the last person coming from? And I actually heard some footsteps above him when he was first making his flank from around, so he probably should have known that it would be coming from some kind of stairway, but I mean, good effort either way. I mean, that was a big task.
I mean, to be fair, the player that you want left in a 1v1 is probably going to be Shaiko. With 5 kills since the rehost, it's not like he's been popping off a frag in every single round. Sometimes it just comes down to who shoots who first, Jess. As you said earlier on, you either do it or you don't. It's as black and white as they come. Let's see how round number 10 shapes up. Virtus.pro heading back downstairs once again. BDS ever so slightly in the lead with that 5-4 scoreline. They are on the attacking side, but one more round would at the least guarantee that we go to overtime. And I said it earlier on, you just get the feeling that's the way that it has to go. It's the way the series deserves to go.
I would love for it to go to OT. My worry is that if it does go to OT, I think VP is starting defense from what it looks like here. I'm going to double confirm that. Yes, VP start their overtime on defense. Does that give them the leg up? A little bit. But BDS have shown that their attacks aren't just smoke and mirrors, I'll be honest. I mean, they've been focusing on the plant round after round after round, and that really wasn't being shown in previous maps. And now that they're really focusing on it, it's been really damn good. What are those ADSs? What is that? That is bad.
A little bit tucked back, because you could drop a grenade to the left of this, essentially destroy the shield and burn the player alive who's stuck behind it. Not quite the most optimal positioning. We'll see if it comes back to bite them a little bit later on. Rask will get a good tap on the knuckles later on from his coach, I'm sure. But WTG has already said, right, I'm done with this. They've burned the shield out. We're getting ourselves hell out of dodge. And in fact, there's an ADS still alive in there as well, which is the worst part.
That's horrific as well, because you would have loved for some of those ADSs to do their job. It's okay because he got away with his life and he did manage to waste about 60 seconds. He took his shield back as well. Interesting. Okay, still a shield in pocket for him to put down. So that's interesting. And Shaiko entries onto his particular position there over towards Pillar, onto the Jaeger player. I'm not sure, Des. I'm not sure how I feel with a lot of these BDS players getting away with these kills and then not being traded.
I mean, without Flanker Supreme left alive in Rask, even with only 1 drone left alive on BDS yet again, you have to wonder if BDS are ever going to get punished for this. I would expect, in fact, you can see the drone right there. It's in the default plant spot. Give them a bit of information, but think about the damage that a player like Pasha could do or Milan could do. They know that they're there somewhere, but they just don't have the drones to inform them of what. So as long as they pick up the pace here, they could play massive spoiler, but it depends entirely on the pace that we see coming out of BDS. Milan's creeping his way down. You've got Pasha looking to push around Laundry Stairs here, maybe to come back down to site and rejoin his team, and they're going to leave Milan to be the sacrificial lamb to try and make an attempt here.
I think Alems knows that someone is trying to flank, but Milan, he needs to have some kind of effect back there because there's only one player to deal with, and if you can deal with him, it forces BDS to have to turn around. And on the time delay that they're on right now, this is not going to be what they're after. They have multiple crossfires. They have C4s as well. I'm not entirely sure. Plant will go down in the doorway. Pre-fire comes out, but it wasn't the shot I thought it was. And now things are looking BDS's way.
They get one as well. Pasha up from the side of the corridor finds another, but someone's behind. No, it's Alem from the top around Pillar. WTG strikes back, but it's a 1 versus 2 against Bride. The clutch got himself and coming up against Alem. They move themselves through to match and series point. It is 6-4 to BDS. Virtus.pro have got to pull something magical out the bag here if they're going to force us through to a third overtime.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to take a moment now to say that I apologize profusely for possibly, I'm not saying it's a definite, but I may have possibly slightly kind of maybe cursed VP. Possibly slightly maybe.
Did you work your weird voodoo magics?
I didn't mean to. I pulled a, Caliber Jacob-esque thing.
Oh, the Jacob, actually. Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob.
That's a hard one to say. Jacob,
it is.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Jalaba Jacob.
Jalaba Jacob. Thank you. I pulled a little bit of whatever he manages to pull out almost without a single fault every time, and I may have accidentally cursed them. They still can win the next 2 rounds, propel themselves into overtime, but that's 2 rounds in a row after a fierce matchup of back and forth for the past 2 maps. It's a tall order, I think.
It is, given how the last 3 rounds have gone. They've all gone the way against to BDS, with meeting kitchen dining, and supply laundry all going their way. So, I don't understand entirely why they're avoiding Kid Storms, to be honest, as well. We haven't seen Virtus.pro take us there. They played the other 3 sites. The 2 off sites have been played, but not one of the primary sites, and I wonder why.
My worry is I'm looking at their stats here. It is the most played site from them in the regular seasons, by far. Actually, I think that it's quite close to Laundry, but when I'm saying it's the most played, is most played out of all of the sites that you have to pick from on this particular map. And that's a good initial pick, opening pick on a Renshiro there, especially the sledge and grenade player. But my worry is that maybe VP have read into this and they've said to themselves, we don't want to go to a site that BDS have watched us play 15 plus times.
Well, here we go. My good lord, Virtus.pro made this one look easy. They have completely shut BDS out in uncharacteristic fashion and in record time. Well, that was literally a 3-second round? That might be one of the quickest. Okay, that happened.
That happened in the blink of an eye. I was trying to finish my explanation of that, the top floor being VP's most played site, and all of a sudden, the round is won. So, okay, maybe I've reverse cursed them here. Here we go. I'm working my magic in reverse ways here, Des. I am working my magic some way, somehow. And the next round will really determine a lot about this matchup. And when I say determine a lot, BDS either walk away the victors after a hard slog of a series, best of 3, going into the last map. They've played so many rounds. We've casted so many rounds of this matchup that we cannot say that this is, or rather we cannot not say that this match has not given justice that it deserves both of these teams. I think both of these teams have come in, showed they're very squarely matched together in a best of 3, even in a best of 5, I would say, and that they have given it justice to each other, going OT every single map. If VP win this next round, that's exactly where it goes to.
And like you say, it 100% deserves it. And the best thing is, Jess, this isn't even the final. This is just the first of 6 matches we get to experience this weekend.
Oh
And
my
who knows
goodness.
what is coming in Empire versus Tempera, because for those two teams, we spoke a lot about the journeys they've had. It's very up and down. It has been really exciting to watch their journeys continue to where it is. But even that game is so difficult to call. I think a few of us think Empire, a few think Tempera. God knows. Either way, the one that we all thought was predictable, that BDS would win this one quite clearly 2-0, a few of us said at the start. Absolutely not the case. And I'll be happy to see whichever way this game goes. We'll see if round number 12 here in Oregon takes us through to overtime, to the best of 3 single rounds that we deserve, or if BDS will be the heartbreakers here and crush Virtus.pro after what has been a hell of a slog of a series. I think we're bordering on nearly 4 hours, actually. It has been a long one.
It has indeed. I will be happy to see it go longer. I'll be happy to see it go into overtime. VP have really surprised me here. They've put in a lot of work against a team that has otherwise been pretty indomitable. So I would absolutely like to see them to have the to be able to test BDS right until the very last moment that they can. They've chosen to go back to meeting. I'm wondering what this decision is really about. And I think last time they played this, they kind of peaked in areas they didn't want to peak. They lost lives in areas they didn't want to lose them in. They wanted to play closer as a turtle strat, and they gave away unnecessary lives up towards attic. So I think this time they're playing it far more safe, far more turtled up towards meeting. And as a result, I don't expect them to just throw their lives towards the attackers the way they did in attic last time.
Still makes me really nervous going to this side, as well as the true offsite, the one that is played the least around the world. I don't know. They're clearly putting a bit of a Christmas tree on display inside a meeting, mind you, with all 3 ADSs lined up together. And where Shiko's pushing now, just inside a green. Oh, you see his feet down to about 75 HP, 25 taken off. I was going to say, normally you'd see a smoke holding in that actual corner and trying to contest anyone that came running round. Certainly not the appetite that the Virtus.pro have. They're not trying to be that aggressive, being a bit more risk averse here and playing at least a little more passively. They're just trying to keep BDS guessing what's coming, what's happening. But Shiko does Shiko things. He swings in, gets a double kill, but is immediately down. But at the very least, he is left alive. And finally, the smoke will bring down the Demon King himself. 4 versus 3. Virtus.pro are at a disadvantage, but without Shiko on side, and again, very few drones left on the field, this yet could be something that Virtus.pro bring back.
Shiko actually got down by the Excaros deploying behind him, so that's a real big loss. He actually would have stayed alive otherwise. VP hoping that Ras can have a very big impact here. He's had very big impacts on other rounds, but he hasn't been able to walk away with the round win. And that's the only thing that matters now, is the round win. It doesn't matter how many kills, how large your KD is, how big your rating is. These last 30 seconds, you either throw it to an OT or you throw it to a loss. BDS are hoping it's a win for them.
Trying to hold those longer angles. They need a smoke to come out now. It does get thrown right to the back, but I think it falls through the hatch potentially. It doesn't land the way they want. Diffuser is down, but 2 kills on the exit. Virtus.pro have got the numbers advantage, but it's a post plan. They need to get these kills. They don't know about the door. 2 versus 2. Pasha brings it back at 2 versus 1. Can they do enough to bring down a Lem? He's holding on the upstairs. They know where the diffuser is, but without that hatch being contested, he's in a spot to make magic happen. WTG, you almost saw him. You know that he's there. You need to win this gunfight. He doesn't know you're there. Just shoot him. WTG with the triple kill. They'll get the defuse, and Virtus.pro drag us all the way through to overtime for a 3rd map in a row.
You did it damn justice, Des. I got the goosebumps. I'm sitting here, we're like, yeah, baby, let's go.
Our heart's going. Woo, I'm ready for this. Oh, really, Pasha?
Oh, no, Pasha.
Why are you going to do me like that? Oh, okay. Okay.
Whew. I don't want them to come back to our cameras because I'm like sitting here like breathless. Oh God, it's come back to our cameras.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Fair play, guys. Thoroughly enjoyed. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. That was good.
Oh my God. That retake was something else. What was WTG doing up in attic? Like what was he wasn't in attic, he was in trophy, but what was he doing there?
Guess where he was, Jess? He was in split. He rotated his way back up armory stairs, I think, as soon as they knew, okay, like, where is he likely to be? He's either sat in the back of tower or he's in attic. If we go through attic, at least we can go and contest onto the back stairs anyway and go for a pinch. I don't know. That's the way I think they would have gone for it. So fair play. You knew that if you had that hatch control, there is no way he could flank you from above. Smart call, very smart call, and that's only built on lots and lots of experience too. So really good to see for Virtus.pro. We said they had to win that to take it to overtime. That is win with a capital W at the front as well, because that was hella exciting. I'm dead chuffed with that round. Absolutely loved it.
I am so excited. I'm sure all the viewers who are going to be catching up with us soon are just going to be like, this is unbelievable that we can have all 3 maps in a best of 3 go dead set into overtime. I mean, I'm going to be really honest with you here. Whoever walks away the victor of this, we can't turn around and call the other team the loser. On paper, they are. But
Yeah.
in any other universe, in any other semantic arguing world that we might be in, they did not walk away the loser. I don't care if it's BDS, I don't care if it's VP. They'll go down to the lower bracket, and if they don't win that one, then the better team won. But the stamina they've had to use in this best of 3 worries me, because then you've got to go and do another matchup today on top of that. That's another possible 3 maps you have to slog through, another possible 30-something rounds. I mean, that's a big day for whichever team loses this overtime.
I mean, the small fact for the viewers, actually, a little behind the curtain kind of view here as well. Between this match and the last one, the players did ask for a slightly extended break. They were like, look, we've literally just played, 28 rounds of Siege. We need a little more of a break than this. We need to let our eyes rest, stretch a little bit as well, have a bit of a team chat, sort ourselves out. And then you come into Oregon and it's like this. Like, my God, they're going to need some help after this one. Get them a massage or something, because Jesus Christ, those stress levels are going to be through the roof.
I think none of us would be even troubled to say that we are proud of every single player in that lobby today. They've absolutely shown up in their own way, shape, or form. Shaiko showing up on, the latter maps rather than the early maps. I think, as the series progressed, he did show up a lot more. He's the name that's in everyone's mouth, of course. So, of course, we're going to bring him up. But I think we've also got to highlight Pasha, map 1, WTG as well. He's been stepping up. You think back to Clubhouse, and he just had a huge game. I think throughout this series, there's been flashes of greatness from multiple players. My problem is now that I'm seeing a BDS on attack that is focusing more on the objective and getting more out of it as a result. Previous maps, they could barely get the plant off. Now they're on Oregon. They look and feel more confident. And as a result, the plant looks to be going down a lot more. And so I'm worried, because I think VP starts, what we said, they start defense on OT. If BDS win one of their attacking rounds on the OT, yike.
The thing is, it's gone 3-3. Like, defense, attack at this point, the two have merged into one. And I'm just saying, actually, because we're a little bit ahead of you guys, of course, the players can't stream snipe and stuff. But looking back now and just watching this play out, I'm just like, this is actually insane. Genuinely insane that it's come down to this in game 1 of the whole thing. We'll be back in game in just a second, of course, so bear with us. It gives us time to recollect our thoughts and kind of just appreciate how mega this game has been. Once we're back into this one, again, it goes to 3 rounds on Oregon to determine who wins this first series. My God, is it tight.
Imagine you're sitting there and essentially, and I don't know who said it, might have been you, it might have been Hap or whatever it is, but essentially he said that it was like, it's now a best of 1. Oregon now becomes a best of 1 because it's the decider map. Well, guess what? OT, 3 rounds, now becomes 3 rounds. It doesn't matter what you did before that. That's all erased. You can have a 6. That's fine. You might as well start it. Now it's the first to 3. Or essentially the first with 2 rounds in their map. It's like a mini best of 3, but rounds. So you cannot make any singular mistake. And I would hate to be the players. I'd hate to be the support staff. I hate to be the fans sitting there right now going, our possibility of moving forward and not having to be pushed down to the lower bracket rests on 3 rounds, a best of 3 mini version. Whew.
It begins, ladies and gents.
Oh,
we're back in. We're starting out Virtus.pro on the defense. Laundry and Supply, the first site that we head to. Think about what happens if this goes to round 15, where they haven't gone towards kids and dorms. They've gone towards meeting twice. That second round, an interesting way of winning, we'll say that much. Let's see how it plays out. You could swear this is a final with how much pressure and tension there is around it. But there's only one way to determine it, and that's to actually get into the game itself. Here we go. Underway with round 13. This has been the 41st round of the day. It's unbelievable. 41st rounds of the day, and it's all in one series.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm going to analyze this setup, and so far it's looking exactly the same way that VP had done it previously. We're checking that shield over towards elbow. In fact, they do quite a shallow shield. They don't push it out towards elbow quite as far as a lot of other teams do. I'm praying and hoping that Ras doesn't put his ADSs. Yeah, there we go, buddy. Yeah, put him out towards the elbow. We don't want to see him anywhere near the shield. It's not going to catch them. There's only going to be 1 there this time, though. Maybe they're making... Oh, no, he's changed his mind. I have no idea where he's going to be putting those ADSs. I actually think, and my thought process is that VP likes to rotate their stuff towards where they're making the assumption BDS will push. And so once they work that out, that's when they start putting stuff down. And look at how many drones over in Blue Bunker. My goodness, it's like a little bit of a tour of Blue Bunker. On the left here, you'll see Elbow. And on the right, you'll see Pillar Door.
It's a question for me of how many of those they lose in the next 60 seconds or so, because across most of this, or most of the half that we just witnessed, BDS did lose almost every single drone with still 60 seconds left to play. And we saw a couple of flanks coming out of Virtus.pro. Sometimes they were successful, sometimes they were not. Rask's coming through split was probably the biggest one to remember. Shut down by Shaiko in the 1v1 at the very end. This map has just been full of those high moments. And I was thinking in the club, I was like, as close as this has been, it's missed the kind of real screamer moments that you expect from a series like this. But I think on this map, we have got those in spades. Round number 6, I've got marked down as one to rewatch. Round number 12, another one to rewatch. It's just been unbelievable.
Oh my God, thank God Rask ran. Shift W to pick up his ADS because Shockwave wouldn't put down his Electroclaw until he picked up his ADS, which was right against the wall. I was laughing to myself about it because I thought to myself, oh my God, what a misplay there from the Jaeger to place it right up against the wall, which is going to be electrified. But the timing was impeccable. And now they're all bunching up over towards the closet area and rather the storage area. They've done this multiple times now where they've opened up this line of sight. And every single time they've challenged it. And it doesn't work out for them this time.
Oh, Rask getting a little bit too aggro there. It's kind of what he's known for, is being this player that gets out in the map, causes trouble, picks up kills, but you're challenging onto Shaiko himself, and he's more than happy to shut you down. 5 versus 4. VP at the disadvantage. They are on the defensive side, and they've got a couple of C4s still to play behind here. Final 60 seconds we come into. I mentioned around the drones that might be left here for BDS. We're down to just 3. They've still got some to play behind. They can make this an informed execute, but they've got to be careful of C4s as they've been bitten by them a couple of times previously. And in fact, it's not just a couple. There are 3 available for Virtus.pro. 1.
Oh, there we go. Well done. But guess what? Rafale's there to replace. 40 seconds left. They desperately want this plant to go off, and Grenade will sail in and means Rafale can go to the plant. That smoke bait rains out, and it doesn't connect twice. How does this happen? I don't know, but they get the plant down.
He's just sat perfectly between the two, it turns out. Not quite able to deny it away. But Pasha with a triple kill. That's the Pasha we want to see. 3 versus 1. 1 goes down, but I think immediately brought back up again. It's Franchiro all by himself. He's just got to defend the diffuser. He's holding around Pillar. They know where he is. They're coming for the challenge here. Going to find one. Can he find a second? Turns for the swing. Can't find him. No, they push him from the corridor. Virtus.pro get the defuse. They move to match and series point. I have said that so many times today already, but this time it is for real. My God, BDS, if they pull this next round back and we go to round 15, I'm going to explode.
Another retake? Another VP retake? Are you kidding me? Oh, you said you're going to explode. My heart is already leaping out of my chest. And yes, it's the very icy cold one that you like to sort of tease me about, but it is still leaping out of my chest nonetheless. That round should not have gone that way. Rounds that shouldn't go the way of VP. VP are just swinging around and saying, yes, they damn should, and we will make it go our way, some way, shape, or form. They're on attack now because that's how OT works. Side switch every single round until the first to 8, and this is why we're seeing overtime match point. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this round. They're going to be bringing the Ying instead of the Thermite. That's perfectly okay for the bottom side because they have both a Maverick and a Habana to play with. The Maverick is going to be crucial on this side, the same way that it was for BDS. My worry is that WTG gets a little bit too excited and then tries to sort of use his Candelas and his smokes for kills rather than the execute. I think if VP play this smart, do everything they're meant to do over a blue bunker and get the plant down, then they'll have a better time. I am worried that some of those pre-placed drones are actually placed for a freezer/laundry take instead, which I don't think is the right play here, considering how they've done it before.
I like the Ying execute on the top floor. I think for here I like it for the smokes, given the ace band away. The Candela spam, I'm curious to know where they try and go for that. Do they wait for when the plant actually comes in, or do they burn it to actually get control of Boiler in the first place? We'll see what WTG's intention is. We'll see what the intention for all of VP is. There's a couple of them starting out towards the east. Probably suggest you're looking towards a freezer to begin things out here. Or maybe it's just a drone position. I'm not sure, but more likely than not, I'm thinking it's going to be a freezer start.
As I said before,
maybe it is, yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily the play. Maybe they're so worried about the fact that BDS has shown time and time again they can hold off on pillars for a really, really long time. Maybe they've practiced this. In fact, not maybe, absolutely they've practiced this. They were prepared in the previous maps. They're absolutely going to be prepared on this one. And the reason I say that is BDS, almost every time they have Shaiko over towards pillar position, they've almost every time been able to hold off on, it doesn't matter what opponent it's been. So I don't mind them coming up with a counter. My problem is that they need to do it methodically, tactically, and fully informed with intel.
Okie doke. It is all on the south side. It always makes me nervous. I can't think of many teams that have won an execute playing down the south side without kills being a massive component of their execute. Whereas you look towards the top side, it's baiting out C4s, it's baiting out smokes, it's sticking the plant because you can get away with that without having to commit into a bunch of gunfights. That's what makes me nervous. We'll see if they make it work. We'll see if there is some new plan in mind here that plays around that Ying. It would make sense, given they've brought it along a couple of times now. Hey, there's the Electro Claw. Goodbye.
Halfway mark. This is either match point for VP or max overtime for BDS. This either works to a T for VP, or BDS read them like a book like they've done on several other attacking rounds for VP, turn it into a round win for BDS, and then we literally go as far as this entire game can go and has gone. This laundry take, we said before it has to be perfect. The reason why, Brude with his smokes and closet being closed mean he's in a really prime position to smoke out any plants you try and do all along the front of laundry. So it's not a good place to plant. You need freezer control as well, and there's no pressure from the other side of the map. So Des, this is a one-sided, one-dimensional Hail Mary. It's all down to gunfights. Who's winning this one?
I mean, that's going to be WTG popping those candelas out and springing forward. Doesn't know the players walked into his left. Renshiro, who nearly died to a grenade earlier on, walks forward and finds one. C4 in hand comes out with it as well. Rask is shut down. We spoke about how ineffective this attack can be, and they have been demolished on their entry. BDS looking to go flawless in this round. Milan is left alive in freezer, almost finds a second, but he gets himself shut down. And just like that, Jess, we're going to round 15. This is going the distance.
Oh no, I don't even know what to think. I really don't know what to think. No color caster, no analyst, no intense fan of the game sits here and watches this and says, oh yeah, BDS or VP deserves to win. No one can sit there in their right mind and say that either of these teams deserve to win, because it's literally coming down. Their fate is decided off one round. After playing a slaughtering 3-match best of 3, or run 3-map best of 3, all overtime, your entire prospects of moving up into the upper bracket are resting on one singular round. You either pull off the best attacking round or you pull off the best defensive round, and whichever team does that here.
Guess what site are we on that we haven't seen the entire second half of the map?
Yo, it's their best side, statistically, almost.
It's the map. They have ignored the entire second half of the site, sorry, they've ignored the entire second half. Virtus.pro did not touch kids and dorms. They went everywhere else. They went to meeting, they went to kitchen, they went to supply, but they did not touch the top floor. And now we go to the top floor as the place they stake 4 hours of siege. 4 hours and 5 minutes to be precise right now. All that time comes down to one round on a site that BDS have not seen them play and Virtus.pro have not had a run at once. This is going to be spicy.
This is the biggest risk for the biggest reward. And I have a feeling, statistically, things looking pretty good for VP. Don't do it, Milan. Oh, okay. Whew. My heart broke because I thought he'd bash the window and he'd be read like a book. We saw that before when Pasha went to the window of Kid's window and just got absolutely slayed down by the sledge. I believe it was Ranchiro, but it doesn't matter who it is at this point. And I'm just slowly watching these drones pat around the map, work out exactly what BDS want to do. I think they'll probably do a pinch push for the most part. Most of the teams do this on this particular site. Open up attic, then go open up bedroom. But at this point, I mean, I barely want to cast anymore. I just want to be a spectator because I'm just reckless.
These are the moments where we turn into fans, though, right? Because you know, if you were sat with a bunch of friends watching this, you would be screaming when it comes to watching this back. You'd be like, "No, Shaiko, what the hell? Oh my God, VP!" You just lose your mind, and that is what we're going to do, no doubt, when it comes to the execute. Assuming, of course, it isn't completely anticlimactic and ends in a flawless round by one side in the next 30 seconds. That would be a disservice to this game and what it's been so far. BDS taking things really nice and cautiously here. In fact, bailing out of Big Tower, and in fact, they're rotating themselves out towards Freezer. A couple of members are. Not entirely. I think they're looking towards Kid's window here. Given that is a massive power position, it makes total sense. But I'm wondering where Brede is going, because we've already said how objective focused BDS have been this entire game. Keep a very close eye on him, where he is, and what the play turns out to be.
I believe they're trying to get rid of Rask below. I think Shaiko initially droned him in kitchen, and now Rafale is looking to drone him. Is this because they don't want Rask to do what he did last time and just come running up behind them? I think so. He has a C4 in hand instead of impact, so that's going to be a huge hit to them. And now they've finally droned him out. I guarantee there's at least 3 of the BDS players looking to push in on him, because if they don't, they know he might be the kryptonite to their last round here.
Rask is still sat down. He could still be that kryptonite to the Superman that is Shaiko. You just don't know what impact he can have. Maybe he gets shut down as he comes on the push out. God knows. Shaiko is still hunting for him here, and no matter what they've dedicated towards kitchen, he has managed to slither his way in towards security. BDS with a big focus on the West take here. They're looking to go for the play. There's 30 seconds remaining. Shaiko's still completely unsure of where he is, but the opening kill, it's Pasha going down to kick things off in the back of Kids. Alem finding that opening kill. WTG comes out Lem with a double kill. A third comes in for Shaiko as he collects Rask on the downstairs. More kills come flying in. A 5 versus 1. BDS are going to flawless round it to close out what has been a stormer of a best of 3. They go through to the upper bracket, but let no man tell you that Virtus.pro did not play their hearts out in this series.
I said it had to be a perfect attack or a perfect defense. I didn't quite mean a flawless one, but BDS says, well, we can pull that out of the bag, and we're going to pull it out confidently. That series, that map, that entire matchup between BDS and VP went the distance, and it was damn justified to go to the distance with the kind of plays we saw pulled out from both of these teams.